So hey guys, it's Coop, and in this video I'm going to be doing a non-biased comparison between mirrorless and DSLR style cameras. This is an important subject to me because I have been looking for the past few months on what kind of camera is better and what the trade-offs and benefits are of each. So I'm ready to tell you guys, so without wasting any more time, let's get started. The first thing you need to know, if you don't know already, is what a DSLR and what a mirrorless camera is. And a mirrorless camera is simply a DSLR without a mirror. It couldn't be more simple, but a DSLR has a mirror that's gonna bounce that light, that image, up to another series of mirrors, which is gonna bring it through the optical viewfinder. If you have a smartphone, you already have a mirrorless camera in your possession, as those do not contain mirrors or any mechanical type of shutter like that. So anyways, let's get into the comparisons and the trade-offs and benefits right now. So the first category is size, and here is a huge difference between the two styles of cameras. Mirrorless cameras are almost always thinner, lighter, all around smaller than DSLRs, just because they don't have to have that mirror construction inside of them. So this makes them more portable and just all around a little better when it comes to size. So mirrorless cameras wins the point for size. Okay, next is sensors. So you're gonna be able to find full frame sensors in both mirrorless and DSLR style cameras, but you're gonna find things like micro four thirds and just different sizes of sensors in mirrorless cameras. Now the real difference between a big sensor and small sensor is that in really low light scenarios you're gonna be able to get a better image out of a bigger sensor, and so for that DSLRs win. But it's not that big of a trade-off. Next, talking about lenses, and if you do have a mirrorless camera with a micro four thirds sensor, you're gonna need a special micro four thirds lens like the one I have here. Now these aren't necessarily hard to find, but they're certainly not as widely distributed or as easy to find as a DSLR lens, so DSLRs once again win the point. Next is autofocus, and this is a highly debatable subject between these two different styles of cameras, but from my research and usage, I've seen that mirrorless cameras, their autofocus is just better. Next is battery performance, and hands down, DSLRs win. So with a bigger body, bigger construction, you're going to be able to fit a bigger battery, which means better battery life, period. DSLRs are definitely the best in that category. Good job. Okay, next talking about construction, and from what I've seen, DSLRs just don't have as solid of construction as mirrorless cameras, and probably the reason that is because mirrorless cameras are just more compact, and for that reason their construction is just a little bit better than DSLRs. Now once again, this isn't in every single case, but usually that is the case. So for that, mirrorless cameras get a point. So with a mirrorless camera, there's no real shutter. You don't have a mirror that has to flip up so the light can get to the sensor. But with mirrorless cameras, it's just wide open, and so you can have a very high, much faster shutter speed than a DSLR would be able to. Also, mirrorless cameras have an electronic shutter sound, and you can almost always turn that off in settings. So when you do, it's absolutely silent, which means that if you're taking pictures and you need it to be in a silent environment, you can with a mirrorless camera. With the DSLR, it's always gonna make that noise. Next, talking about image stabilization. And with both styles of cameras, you can get lenses that have optical image stabilization built in, but with mirrorless cameras, you can also get sensor stabilization. I know Sony has done this where the sensor is able to move a little bit, and that helps to compensate with fast or hard movements that you wouldn't really want in a video. So for that, mirrorless cameras gets a point. Next, talking about price, and this has definitely fluctuated and will continue to for a long time, but at the point of making this video, they're about the same. For the same features and quality of video and pictures, it's usually around the same price between mirrorless and DSLR, so they are tied. Next is availability. So almost every company makes a DSLR style of camera, but not every company makes a mirrorless style. So you're going to be able to find a DSLR a lot easier from the company that you want to buy it from than a mirrorless camera. There's almost always more DSLRs too, just because they've been in production for way longer than a mirrorless camera has. Next, talking about features, and where both styles of cameras are going to be able to do tons of different things, especially when you move up to that higher price point. mirrorless cameras are almost always going to gain new features sooner. This has to do with companies putting more money into mirrorless cameras because they seem more modern or more futuristic or whatever. So what do you think? Tell me down below your opinions on mirrorless and DSLR style cameras. Honestly, what would I recommend? Mirrorless. It's more future proof, you're gonna get new features faster. It's just the way that everything is going. DSLRs are getting more and more like mirrorless cameras, and eventually they'll be gone, and mirrorless cameras will probably still be what is used. Both of them have different benefits, but I think the benefits of a mirrorless camera far outweigh the benefits of a DSLR. DSLRs have definitely had a very impressive run, but mirrorless cameras, they're probably the way to go. Anyways guys, I hope you did enjoy. I want you to know that I did try my absolute best to keep this non-biased. I did offer many different points of different sides, so I hope you guys appreciate that. Anyways guys, I will catch you in the next video, and until then, bye!